Let's bring in right now House Minority Whip and the Republican representative from Virginia, Congressman Eric Cantor. He's meeting with President Obama later today. Congressman, give us some good news. So, has the president moved to the center enough that we can have some bipartisanship between you and him?
Well, Joe, listen, we are ready to go to work here. As you know, this is the first week back from the two-week Easter break, and really I think it's time for us all to sort of step back, and if we can just become a little bit more thoughtful about things that need to be taken care of. We're going to the White House today, and my message to the president is, look, Mr. President, we can do a lot better. You know, the first almost 100 days of this administration really have not been the best days for bipartisanship. There are
obviously... Why is that?
Well, you know, look, I mean, there has been a lot of talk that we should work together, but when it came down to putting together the stimulus bill, when it came down to putting together the budget, there was no input whatsoever accepted by Speaker Pelosi from our side of the aisle. And we've got
on the stimulus package, did Barack Obama write that, or did Nancy Pelosi write that? Because I had understood originally he had sent a draft up that seemed a bit more bipartisan, but Nancy vetoed that,
well,
right?
And that's the problem. We need to sort of translate the intent that the president talked about initially that never really bore out in the process. And when you've got people out of work, there's 15 people a minute in this country losing their job right now. You've got announcements like GM going to close their plants all summer long. I mean, we've got serious economic problems. We've got a housing crisis that continues to persist. There are some really common sense policies we can put in place. And if the president is talking about wanting people to save more, we can do some things other than just suggest it. We can put some incentives in place to increase the limits for people to save in their retirement accounts. We can increase the tax benefits for those people to make investments, to get back into the markets. We've got some very, very serious issues facing us, and I do think now that we can come together, we can do better, and we can stop this out-of-control spending and borrowing.
Okay, go ahead, Pat.
No, Mika, you have a question, Mika?
Well, I just wonder how you intend. You're meeting with the president today. How do you intend to deal with this issue with him? What do you intend to say?
Well, I want to say this, Mika. I want to say to the president, look, we're ready to work with you. It is time for us to try and deliver on the change that you promised during your campaign, to make sure that Washington started working for the people again, and not just for the own political interests that seem to permeate this town. It is time for us to do better.
Give me an example. What's an issue? The president wants to give us universal health care. He's put a $634 billion price tag on the down payment. Can you agree on that?
Well, listen, Joe, right now the problem is health care costs have risen too high. And the sense of saying that we're going to put $650 billion of additional taxpayer dollars into the system is just counterintuitive when you're trying to bring down costs.
You can't agree to that, right?
No, we can't agree to it if it's going to be a system where you've got somebody in Washington beginning to look at ways for the government to cut its costs. Anytime we put government more in the middle of the healthcare system or whatever it is, you're going to create a lot of problems, and frankly, the quality is not going to be what people want.
Right. Pat Buchanan.
Congressman Cantor, Secretary Clinton said yesterday that the Pakistani government is abdicating, and it's in an existential crisis, and the Taliban not only took over the Swat Valley, they've moved within 60 miles of the capital. How close are we to an Islamic Republic in Pakistan of 170 million people with 60 nuclear weapons?
Well, obviously, Pat, all very, very serious threats to the national security, not only of the free-loving people of that region, but to the United States and our interests. And that's why, Joe and Pat, when you talk about the president saying he wants us to agree to things that he has and that I will say he has a good idea, I think the president has understood and demonstrated we have a real threat in Pakistan, in Afghanistan. We've got to take it very seriously. We'll be looking at a war supplemental over the next several weeks here in Congress, and I believe if that is a true war supplemental to get the money to our troops, he'll have some bipartisan support on that.
Mark Whitaker.
Congressman, I want to get back to health care. Can you talk about a specific compromise on health care that you could sign on to? And would, as far as you're concerned, is tax cuts and tax incentives the only way, the only kind of lever that we have on health care, or are there other aspects that you could endorse?
Mark, let's look at what most Americans are worried about right now. If you think about a single working mom trying to deal with her life right now when she goes to work in the mornings at a suburban office park somewhere in this country, think about what it is that she'll worry about tonight when she goes to bed and put her kids to bed. She's worried about, number one, the fact she may lose her job, and if she does that, she's going to lose her health care. We've got to address that first and foremost. And then, what does she want out of her health care system? She wants the ability to choose the physicians for her children, the right pediatrician. She wants to make sure that the relationship that she's got with her physician is sacred, that somebody in Washington is not telling the doctor what kind of procedures she can have. Those are the kind of principles we can all agree on, and we've got to get straight.
All right, Eric, thank you for being with us. Final question. You're raising a lot of money. Your leadership pack, more than everybody else. Are you going to be the next leader of the House Republicans?
We are working hard to make John Boehner Speaker of the House, and I'm looking forward to making sure we're out there taking our message to the people.
Okay, let me ask you in a different way. Are you going to push John Boehner over the cliff?
Yeah.
Are you?
No, absolutely not. You know, we are working together as a great team, and I think obviously things are looking very optimistic for us.
So you're saying it's possible?
No, I'm saying that we're working together as a team, arm in arm.
Okay.
Arm in arm.
Arm in arm. That's pretty tight.
Arm and break his arm.
Okay. No, he's not going to do that. He's a uniter, not a divider. Okay, Congressman Eric Cantor.
Well done.
Thanks for being with us, and good luck at the White House.
Thanks. Yeah, I want to hear about that.
We can find some bipartisanship.